Shit. What up there, anime and manga communities? This is your boy Chdeaaanime, or Chdeaaanime, whatever others want to call me. And today, I'm here to talk about Magi, the labyrinth, and the kingdom, and the manga of magics. Anyways, so now, this week's chapter of Magi is like one of the few mangas that every time I read this shit, I have to go like really deep into it because Magi is like, there's so much information in some of these chapters and you can really miss some of it sometimes. Like you really can, like if you're not paying attention, you'll miss some of the more important parts of the chapter. And it's just like, I love it, but then at the same time, it makes these reviews longer than they normally would be. But either way it goes, let's go ahead and get into this Magi chapter. And okay, I just gotta go ahead and say, what are you guys' thoughts on Hakryuu's change? Like, do you guys like that he's just completely evil now? Or do you guys prefer the old Hakryuu where you could kind of side with him, where he made sense? This Hakryuu seems like, I've seen people say, oh, this Hakryuu is so much better than the old Hakryuu. He's not emo like Sasuke or a Sasuke clone anymore. He's awesome, but I feel like he's more of a Sasuke clone now. I feel like he's just like this evil idiot, like with no plan. Like, he has no, like, he's just, oh, well, the world rejects me, so I'm gonna force the world to love me. Like, why you no love me world? That's how I feel about Hakryuu. I don't feel that, like, at first, when you first saw him and you first listened to his logic, I felt like, yeah, he makes sense. I can get behind his cause because it makes sense. He's not being so idealistic. He's just trying a different way. It might not be the light way to do it, but he's trying a way to fix things. And I like that. But now we got just this pure evil douchebag, and I'm just like, whatever. But either way it goes, I still like Hakryuu, I'm just saying. Anyways, let's get into the actual chapter. The chapter starts off with Hakryuu and Judar coming into the southern territory of the Ko Empire, ninth frontline supply base. And when they get there, they're surrounded by soldiers. They use Judar's, teleportation magic to get there. And when they get there, we have Judar and Hakryuu saying this is going to be our first castle. This is going to be our first place that we're going to take over. And then we get a flashback of after they got out of the tower. And what we find out from there is that Hakryuu has an ability from one of his Jin. I'm sorry about the audio desync at this point. I'm going to be getting a new camera this weekend, so here's something for that. So anyways, so what happens from there is we find out Hakryuu gave Judar like this weird little bug thing that is on his arm and allows Hakryuu to track Judar wherever he goes. So from there, we get Hakryuu talking to Judar about, killing, I can't remember her name. Oba? No, it's not Oba. What is her name? Rin Gyoku. I don't know what the hell that was. I like freaking flatline. Anyways, so they were talking about killing Rin Gyoku, and Judar is like, yeah, she's too strong. Like she's strong, and her freaking puppets don't make this easier because you have to kill the main body to stop them, or else they'll just become dolls. And they feed information to each other. They're all across those old guys that you see in those freaking hoods and all that. Those weird, you know what I'm talking about. They are all connected through Rook, and they can send information to each other because they're all dolls at the end of the day. And Hakryuu ends up saying that, yeah, we're probably being watched right now, and they end up capturing two of the dolls. So from there, after they capture two of the dolls, they head to where we are now, present time, which is the ninth supply base, where people are not feeling Hakryuu's goal of turning against Ko, and they're like, well, we stand by Ko. But they can't, because with his new Jin that we just saw Hakryuu get, he can kind of control people's minds, which leads me to believe this is a flashback. Because I thought this was all happening current time, after the assassination of Rin Gokuen, until I realized that they have yet to assassinate Rin Gokuen because they're talking about it, unless this is like, they realize they haven't really killed her, or that this is a flashback. So I'm going to assume this is a flashback. At least that's what I'm thinking anyways. So from there, we have something that honestly surprises me, well, it doesn't really surprise me. It's that we find out so much about like Judar's ability. Like this dude was legitimately able to create a barrier for them to be safe in. It's like the barrier that was used in Magnostad. And Hakryuu asks, well, how are you able to do that? Like, how are you able to have like all this and know that? And he's like, well, because of the black rook I got from the old guy, Magma, or whatever his name was. This is like trippy. This dude can draw knowledge and power from all those who fall into depravity. So when you die and you fall into depravity, your power goes into Judar. And it's just making him stronger. And I'm like, dude, these guys are becoming massive threats. And the more Hakryuu experiments with his abilities, the more he finds out the more power he finds through it. And these two are going to become a massive threat. Like they are like something that needs to be squashed now. They're becoming too big for their britches, in my opinion. Like they might get so powerful at a point that it's going to take all the kingdoms to come together and just handle them. And we still have Althaman to deal with. So it's Hakryuu, you scumbag. You're making things a lot harder for people. Anyways, so from there we have them talking and figuring out that they only have 2 weeks to prepare for the coming battle with the code soldiers that are going to eventually realize something is going up at this base. And what happens is Hakryuu takes the time to have Judar learn some new magical techniques, and then for him to study these clones so that he can figure out how the rook transfer works and all that. And by the time they finish doing all this, the Co-Empire is knocking on their front door like, hey, what's cracking? And Judar is like, you ready for this? And Hakryuu is like, yeah, let's get it out. Like, dude, I'm looking forward to seeing what they learn. But either way it goes, I just gotta say, like I said, I don't necessarily like the evil Hakryuu. I don't really feel it. I feel like it was better. I like a manga where things aren't so cut and dry, black and white. You know everything and everyone's path, and this guy's evil and this guy isn't. That's one of my favorite parts about Magi, is the fact that every king has a different understanding and isn't necessarily evil. They're just coming to their own answers. And I don't like Hakryuu. Like Hakryuu he stands for everything that Magi isn't about. He's like just evil, and that's what he is. Like he's evil and he's emo and his reasoning sucks. And I have to be real. I love Magi, but I have to say his reasoning right now is awful. It is stupid as fuck. Like it's dumb. Like at least back then he was like, I want to get revenge, but I also want to make my kingdom something worth it. But now it's like, oh, you don't love me and I'm gonna be evil. But now it's just stupid. Either way it goes, man, I'm gonna go ahead and sign out now. I like the chapter on Magi. I just had to put my thoughts on Hakryuu out there. Let me know what you think about Hakriyuu's change. Either way it goes, I'm gonna go ahead and sign out now. This is your boy chdeaaanime signing out. Please be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and do a things up by 5. And I will catch you all on the flip. It has been golden. Peace out, anime and manga communities.